Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video I'm continuing my process. I've been walking with my left wrist, and herein also walking the process of what the fingers in your entire hand in relation to the wrist also mean. In other words, you always find when you're working with a point in relation to your wrist that there will be an accompanying finger that is also being affected in some way or another, and that will always be specific because it'll assist and support you in getting to know and understand what exact point you are dealing with inside your way of thinking or responding as reacting to emotions and feelings, a point in relation to a personality of yourself that you become with someone or towards someone, whether in reality or in your head. You know that sometimes you have relationships with people that's more in your head than you actually have them in reality, and it's quite fascinating and intriguing how we can create a mental personality of ourselves where we change in the way we think, behave, feel, experience ourselves, look at ourselves, view ourselves, but that relationship in no way actually exists in reality. We don't really so much participate with a person, communicate with them, or get to know them. So there's so many mental realities or physical realities in yourself within and between the two that you can get to know by listening more to what your body is trying to communicate with you that is not in alignment in your relationship with yourself or your body. You know, this is essentially what I found, that taking the wrist for example, with my wrist being in such pain and discomfort and unease, and the pain's like changing and swapping and transforming, and then it's this pain and that pain, that I, on my self level, in who I am within me, my relationship with me, my mind, my thoughts, my emotions, feelings, and my body, something was out of sync. You know, something was just not in tune. And it's really like quite similar to that of a guitar. You know, when the strings are not in tune or in sync, I mean, the sound that guitar is going to produce is not going to be very easy on the ear. So it's like the same with our relationship with ourselves, our minds, and as well as our bodies. If we've got one string, one point that is out of sync, that is out of alignment, that's just causing like a friction, you know, the sound, which is the experience of ourselves, our living, our relationships with people, our own mind, our bodies, that's going to not be easy to live with and really enjoy and, you know, embrace. So therefore, when my body's communicating with me, I know, okay girl, here there's some tuning to do. Not the hey, I've got to tune you type of thing, the actual, you know, tuning, the sound. And you know, this process is very much like that of tuning a guitar. You know, it's not going to be something forceful or enforcing and rigid and hard and like, you know, like knocking things down type thing. It's really going to actually be a very gentle process with yourself. So in walking my process with my wrist and the fingers that show, which was perception and relationship and my creativity, individuality, my expression or my sexual relationship and expression within that, and then your index finger representing direction and your thumb representing self. But we'll get to that in videos to come. For now, we'll introduce you to these three fingers while walking the wrist. So I had to ask myself, okay, what have I been wrestling with inside myself, where I've created that polarized conflict of, you know, something's just not right inside of me, I'm struggling with it, I'm trying to understand it, you know. And this is an interesting mistake that so many of us make, where we think the key is when we don't understand something that we have to understand it, you know, and then we go into the state of, oh my god, I'm not getting it, I'm not understanding it, what's going on, why is this happening to me? And it's like kind of that state of, why is this happening to me, why me, what's going on, I don't understand, what am I doing wrong, and why do I feel this way, and why is this relationship going this way or that way? So, you know, it's like that's that really uncomfortable state of I don't know or why, you know. And grappling with that experience, that confusion, that perplexity in relation to something or someone. So I just sit down with myself and like, okay, with what have I been in that state? And I found it was something I've been wrestling with inside myself when it came to certain aspects of myself in my life. I've been trying to change, and yes, the emphasis being on trying. And it felt like no matter how hard and how much I tried, it just didn't work. Like, take a relationship with someone, for example, where it really felt like I've done everything I can to change it, to prevent certain things from happening, to be as nice as possible or accommodating. And it just felt like no matter what I tried, the person kept on being disappointed or felt like I'm not reaching their expectations. I constantly felt not good enough, and it just kept going and going and going, and I was trying to fix and change and literally crawl on my hands and feet to try and please them. And it constantly, in terms of my own expectations as well for the relationship and for my relationship with that individual, it felt like everything was futile. Nothing was working, and that caused that inner friction, because I kept on wondering, what am I missing? What am I not understanding here? What am I doing wrong? And so sitting down with myself, I was like, okay, the missing link, the missing point, the neutral, the center point was wisdom, was me, the data, information. I did not really then actually understand this problem and issue well enough. So what I need is go back to the drawing board and write this out. Where do I stand in my relationship with myself, with this person? What am I actually really busy doing? And confronting myself in that way and getting more data and information. What I mean by data and information is just getting more, asking myself more questions. That's how I, in my own process, acquire wisdom, which is more understanding, context, substance to a particular problem or issue. And asking myself questions, which was, how am I trying to resolve this relationship? But then the answer to that trying was pleasing, running after, going on my hands and feet, almost begging, projecting certain expectations, going into a desire and a want of having this relationship work. And all those things, I was actually coming to this person with this tidal wave of energy, of what I want, that I wasn't actually really listening and observing in reality, very practically and commonsensically, about what was going on. And I realized that this whole issue had nothing to do with that person. And I was actually grateful that the person remained who they were, because the point that I needed to see was that there wasn't actually really anything that needed to be fixed. And that it's not about fixing anything. It is about me, yes, having a look at what I would like the relationship to aspire to, but that's not something I'm going to be able to create in a sustainable, long-standing way through wanting to please and belittle myself and almost crawl on my hands and feet begging them to like me or see me in a different light or respect me and things like that, when I'm becoming the complete opposite. I'm becoming this weakened, panicky, belittled, inferior being with this person. And the question comes, is that who you want to be with this person? What are you doing? I got so lost in the idea of what I wanted the relationship to be, I did not look at the reality of who I am in it and who they are in it, and how our relationship is really created. It's about me being the best of me with them in daily life, in daily life moments. And so I just dropped that whole thing of trying to fix and to please and run after and project expectations and be nice the whole time and kind of be over the top with everything. And I just decided to show them my best qualities, be myself in relation to practice. I mean, it's very easy to say be yourself, but I mean, even in this journey with this person, I didn't really know what that self was. What does it mean to be me, be myself with this person? Or, be my best self with this person. And they had very interesting qualities about them, which was discipline. They always had a very high standard for work that had to be produced. They weren't easily pleased. In other words, you had to really push yourself. And I liked that because I needed someone like that in my life to support me, because those were also aspects in myself that were really, let's call it undernourished, underdeveloped as well. And so I rather utilized that relationship to support me. You know, the relationship wasn't about the relationship. It was about what was that person's role in my life at the time. And that is what I had to understand. And once I understood that and started applying it, started becoming more, pushing myself more to perfect the work I produce, to respect myself within the work that I produce, and, you know, be more organized and plan more effective and be more on time. It was really interesting to see how this relationship transformed, and how much more I started learning from this individual and about myself. And once that started changing, my wrist started easing up. And now, to this day, nothing particularly has to happen to my wrist, you know, for me to open up these types of points, because sometimes when my wrist feels a bit tight and uneasy, I know, oh, okay, there's a point that I need to bring to a wisdom and understanding by collecting more data and information within myself, wrestling with something in me, instead of putting it out in front of me, looking at it, and resolving it within myself and in my life. So everyone, here is a very practical way in relation to look at just more conscious layer in relation to your left wrist. And in the next video, I'll continue with sharing, but what were the fingers of perception, relationship, and expression? What did that have to do with all of this? And how did I use this as well in my reference or journey of understanding my wrist? All right, everyone. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.